Hey guys, just a dumb dad here. Hope everyone's been having a good week. It is the middle of the week for me, pretty much almost towards the end. The weekend is tomorrow. For most of you guys, unfortunately not for me. We're working this weekend. So, um, today I'm taking a little bit of a different twist. I want to start doing a small video series. A couple of people have mentioned to me about human values, family values, and virtues, or not virtues, but family values, community. A lot of things have been changing lately, especially within last year, with the way people behave, stuff that was done in the streets on all different sides, the way people come across to each other, the respect that people have for each other, and different things like that. People coming together, people falling apart, just people in general, and communities, and all this. Um, so I thought I can kind of run with some of that and take a little bit of a twist to it. So I've been doing a little bit of research with some things, and we're gonna go and do a video series where we're gonna touch on three or four each week, and it has to do with core values. So there's 39 of these values, which you will see right over here. I'm gonna put up here. It's the 39 core values, more or less for society, human values. What we look for in our area from other people, what we want within our family, and different things like that. What makes us a part of society or community, and we're gonna touch on four of those to start off, which is going to be balance, community, respect, and self respect. So, all four of those. A lot of this is going to be just some definitions, mostly my opinions that go with it, and what I think of these values, and how some stuff is handled with other people, and maybe some changes or different things like that. It just kind of depends. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to start off with balance right off the bat, because most people, when they want to belong to any kind of group, a function, a community, parts of society, a job, their friends, school districts, different things like that, they want, even within their own home and family, is balance. No one wants to. I mean, I shouldn't say no one, but there's a lot of people out there that don't want to deal with a whole lot of chaos, confusion, and all kinds of issues. So, balance. What is balance? Pretty much the regular basic, and a lot of this stuff is literally just pulled off of dictionary.com, just to cover some of the basics. But it's a noun, a state of equilibrium or equipoise. If I said that word right, if I didn't, I apologize. Distribution of weight, amount, etc. Something used to provide equilibrium or counterpoise. It can be used as a verb also to bring or hold equilibrium or poise. Now, when I'm talking about balance, I'm not talking about weights and scales and putting stuff on there. I'm talking about balanced communities, balanced societies, balance within the family. So, within creating balance, um, it's like fairness, equality. You want things on both sides to work the way that it's supposed to. You want, if there's something wrong, you want it to be fixed. If it's chocolate, you want vanilla. There's a lot of, you want both sides of the fence. Like you have Republican and Democrat. You have certain different types of religious beliefs, stuff within school communities and whatnot. Even general parenting. You know, there's balance within the homes. Same thing goes out in the streets. My first thing anytime it comes to all this stuff is because of how valuable and precious the family is you teach them at home first, so then when they go out into the street they know how to behave, and that can keep steamrolling and keep going. And the more that we try to teach them now while they're younger, and show them good core family values and core society and structures, and get them involved with being parts of the community, but creating good solid communities, the better off it's going to be. So one of the biggest, and this was really high up on the list, is people want to see balance within their job, their community, their social spaces. Um, and balance is a pretty big word when it comes to a lot of different things, because everyone has their own interpretation of balance, especially in the heat of a moment. So, but learning balance, teaching balance, um, fairness, a lot of these words could spin off into other words that are also a part of the core values list. Um, so, and I keep bringing up community and society. So the whole reason I wanted to start with balance is that also trickles into community. So people want to belong to a community. No one really wants to be alone 100%. Even though there's a lot of us, we just hate people in general. We don't like to be around them. It's one of those things. But even when you're a loner or an outcast or whatever, you're also still a part of a community to some sense. You have your communities within communities. You have the religious community. You have different racial communities and family values that are all mixed in there. Like where I live is one town area community. You have your school district and everything that is in there. You have parents that get involved with different things, and then you have your different families, and some of those have their own little communities within it, depending upon what kind of sports maybe your kids are in, or your religious background, or your political beliefs, different things like that. Maybe the types of jobs or some of your activities, whether you're a gamer or you're into softball and bowling and different things like that, or working on cars. And then you also have your different racial communities with different things, and every one of those communities also has to have a certain amount of balance. If they don't, they fall apart. And that's what makes balance very, very important as a structure for a keystone part when it comes to being a part of a community. And then, like I said, there's all these sub communities within the community, but we need to learn to work together. Community is really, really important in the aspect as in that is the next step outside of the home. So when we're learning or we're teaching to grow how we communicate with other people, how we share our beliefs, our thoughts, our opinions, our wants and desires, everyone else wants to do the same thing. They want to belong in a community, but at the same time, people want what they want when they want it. And you have to have a certain amount of respect for everything. And I know that they say respect is earned, not given, but respect is actually a two-way street, because if you're not shown any kind of respect, a lot of times people aren't even willing to give it. So to earn it is kind of like a catch-22. At the same time that while you're doing things for people and showing respect, that is generally in how that you also earn it for yourself. Respect is something that needs to be taught at home. A lot of the values when it comes to respect and how things are really muddled. The way people want to behave and interact is just, my opinion, appalling lately with a lot of things. But dealing with that balance and respect within a community is, once you step outside of the house, you have to cater to your community. If you don't, it's gonna fall apart. It's the communication's going to get lost. There's going to be a lot of different issues, and a lot of things that I see in the communities nowadays is you have the higher crime rates, you have the race battles, you have drugs. I mean, I guess that still falls under crime rates and different things with theft and all that. And it's, some of these communities don't look safe, let alone feel safe for the people that are in them. And the people that are in those also want change. They want to see the difference, but you have to invest within your community. You have to have core values, and you got to teach them, and you got to make it a point to put them out there and respect others and be respected at the same time. You can clean up the streets. Everything starts at its home. You clean it within your house, and you go out in the community, you try to clean up the crime and stuff with that too. I'm not saying run the streets, and start, putting gun wielders of crimes down, people that are holding people at gunpoint, robbing them, and all other kinds of stuff, or, but there's ways that you can come together as a community and start to remove the crime from your streets, making those safer, bringing out core values. A community that can grow and communicate and be strong together is only going to make the household stronger and everyone safer. um, you'll learn to work together better as a community. So community is a really big core value. And I also was mentioning respect in a lot of that, because if you don't respect others, if you don't have respect for yourself and you don't earn respect, then the other ones aren't going to matter anyway. They kind of all go together. You can't have a community of people that are going to be together and function if no one respects each other, no one has respect at all, or respect outside of people, but just for property, objects around there, morals, beliefs, laws. There's a lot of different things when it comes to that. I mean, and that's why I picked these four to start off with. Ooh, excuse me, because I feel like they're definitely balled into one, and really all these values kind of ball into each other. And if you start to remove a value, then it starts to fall apart. You got to have respect for the laws. I know that there's a lot of times that we'll just take speeding for instance, because it's very simple. Everyone's in a hurry. We want to get somewhere. We want what we want when we want it. But if we don't respect that law and follow the rules and respect those rules, then there's potential that we or someone else can get hurt or cause harm. And then you have disruption. People are dying or people are getting hurt. Cars are getting destroyed. Properties get messed up. Then you have to have the authorities in there. Then there's money involved and all this and that. And it winds up being a whole lot of people that aren't happy. And then they start to have these negative opinions and thoughts. So like, you have your laws, you have different things that you respect when it comes to expectations of other people or the businesses around you, respect within the community, expectations with that, family, friendships. It just all balls into one deal. And a lot of times I feel like people are just too greedy these days. They're just too selfish. All they care about is themselves. I got to get everyone else before they get me, and I'm taking care of me first. And that's fine to have some of that thought, but it's ungodly horrible all at the same time. Like, you can, one of the things that I hate, and this is nothing against Walmart, but I don't like going to Walmart because every experience I've had at Walmart was pretty shitty. I'm the type of person that if two of us bump into each other, whether it was my fault and I bumped into you, or it wasn't my fault, you weren't paying attention, you bumped into me, I automatically just say, oh, excuse me, sorry about that, and I go about my day. And I've literally had people shoulder me, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, and they're like, you should be. You need to watch where you're going. And I wasn't even moving. They just walked into me. I was literally reaching for something on a shelf. I've been in there and had my one daughter, when she was like 9 or 10, get her leg ran over by a woman on a scooter, just not paying attention, looked right at her after she drove up on her foot, and then just right over it, just kept going. People in parking lots, aisles, lines, throwing issues and attitudes, talking, just about the person in front of them constantly. No respect to cashiers and different things like that. And it's not just Walmart. I mean, it's everywhere. It's just, that's one of my examples that I like to use because I see a lot of it there. When I used to go, I prefer to go other places or shop online. But it also happens face to face. It happens online. It happens in the workplace. It happens in other grocery stores or places of business, in the salons and different things, where people have expectations, but at the same time they don't want to put the respect out there. You could take nails for instance. I take my daughters occasionally, once in a blue moon, to get their nails done, or my wife is gone, and if you don't like the work that's being done, you say something, but there's a respectful way of saying it, instead of either not saying anything at all and then throwing out, you want to become a keyboard warrior online in the review section and all this and that, when you could have got it dealt with there. Or they get disrespectful to the person there. And then you have the community of that salon. That's a job, you know, their little society right there. They're gonna, you know, take each other's side for the most part, especially if it doesn't look horrible. And if you're being an asshole, then you're not going to get anything taken care of. They're just going to want to remove you from the process or property. But if you are respectful with it and you just voice your concern that you didn't like this or whatever, and you would like to see if they could do it differently or get it fixed, a lot of times that gets dealt with. And you know, sometimes businesses are shitty too, but that's where a lot of this stuff with respect comes into. You see it out. You go in, you go down into your cities right now. Pick a city, pick a town. It doesn't matter. You're going to see people that are not respecting laws, just throwing trash on the ground. Just the way that they act or behave with each other. Some of the stuff that's going on where the people are burning buildings and businesses. You know, the way that they treat each other for just the way someone looks or dresses or different things. There's a lot of fucked up shit out there right now. And if people just take a moment to look in the mirror and realize that there's a good chance that they're also part of the problem and see what they can do to fix it. Start at home, put it into the streets. Get the home right, work on the communities. It'll help with society. It'll make places a lot better. Too many people want to pass the buck, but they want to bitch about it all the time. So it's just one of those things that you have to do. It's also going to be self-respect. Now, I mentioned that no one wants to respect each other. Everyone wants to kind of shit on people, point the finger and pass the buck. But at the same time, you have to have self-respect. If you don't have self-respect, it's going to be a lot harder for you to make different changes or do certain things. I'm not saying if you don't have self-respect, you can't respect anyone at all. That's not the case. You can be very respectful and hate yourself at the same time. But you also have to know your value and what you can bring in or your community, your household, to bring balance. You have ideas and opinions and feelings, and they matter as well. That's one of the greatest things about America, where we live, is this is a place of freedom. This is a place for you to have, or to potentially have, anything that you've ever wanted, to create it for yourself. You decide who you are and what you are, but you have to have self-respect and you have to respect others at the same time. You know, a lot of the stuff that you see on TV where everything is now, you know, against this or against that, and people, you have extreme beliefs and values, you can cut them out. You don't have to let that bother you. Those people that want to act extreme will eventually change anyway. With a lot of their opinions and stuff, they sway back and forth all over. Just work on home, work on the community. Start off with just some basic values. I mean, balance is really important. If you don't have it, shit falls apart, becomes chaotic. Everyone knows that. So it's something that everyone looks for. So don't just look for balance, also create it. People want to be a part of community. They want to have respect and voice their own opinions. You got to do the same thing on both sides of the street. Someone shits on you, don't take it out on the next person. Like I said, I just want to start a video off. These are the 4 values I wanted to touch on. There's going to be 39 of them. We're going to be going over a week. I'm not saying it's going to be this solidly for, you know, weeks on end until we go through all 39. I'm going to mix it up with different things, but expect to see more of these. I do want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch my videos. I'm still learning and trying to grow and figure all this stuff out, exactly what kind of content I want to nail down. I don't even know if Just a Dumb Dad is going to keep its own thing. However, if you do enjoy the content or a little bit, or a lot of it, if you subscribe, it's absolutely free. And you want notifications, make sure you hit the bell twice, once to receive notifications, but then a second time to be guaranteed notifications, I guess, because that's how YouTube works. Because, you know, I am a small channel. I put a video out maybe once a week or, every other week, depending on how busy it gets. So I don't fit within their algorithm. So, but I want to thank you again for taking time out of your day to watch this and, you know, kind of sharing some of this stuff with me. I also have a Discord. which I'll post a link in the description if you choose to join that. We don't do a lot of just the dumb dad stuff on there, and it's growing, so it's not super active, but I wouldn't mind having more people in there to help create the activity in there, bring it into being a bigger place. And I also stream on Twitch on my days off, usually starting between 5 and 6, sometimes earlier. If you want notifications on that, make sure you follow my Twitch channel, which there will be a link in the description as well. And you'll turn your notifications on for that, because my days off and working are, they change a lot. So, but I hope you guys have a good weekend coming up. Thank you so much, and let's see what the next one's going to be about. I got a little bit of a longer week off next week, so who knows? Anything is a possibility. But this is just a dumb dad, and I'm out of here. Have a good one.